I don't know for sure. Man, why do I have so many cases? I think right here. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of Guns and Cameras. Now, I apologize for the crazy that is happening here right now. I'm all thrown out of whack because last week, or well, I guess 2 weeks ago now, I had kind of a last minute trip to Texas that I needed to take, which meant I didn't get all the promo materials put together for the guest who was supposed to take this Friday spot or tomorrow's spot. So instead, we're pushing our next guest, he's kind of a big deal, into next week, so we get a full 2 weeks of promo. And then instead of doing his episode this week, we're doing like a surprise kind of like thrown together deep dive into the Guns and Camera Awards, and also a get to know you with Evan, the new co-host, Evan Fitzpatrick. We introduced him last episode. So yeah, I hope you guys are looking forward to hearing more about the GCAs. The submissions are now open. I'm gonna quit flapping my jaws. Y'all can get into this week's episode of Guns and Cameras. Shooters, are you ready? Stand by. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to this week's episode of the Guns and Cameras podcast. It's a very special edition because today we have with us a very special guest. This man's going to be a regular on the podcast because he is officially the new co-host. I'm talking about Mr. Evan Fitzpatrick. Evan, thank you for being on the Guns and Cameras show as a host. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Dude, thanks for having me on. I've been a huge fan. I've gotten to know you personally. You obviously put me on and shown me, you know, this whole industry and opening it up for me. So getting to be a part of this is super cool. Um, as you know, my name's Evan, and I'm a videographer. Uh, I like to make all sorts of stuff. I'm pretty new to the industry as far as firearms are concerned. So it's been a short term of the new part of my career, but it's by far been the best few months. So thank you for letting me join this.
Dude, absolutely. I am beyond excited to have you being a part of the Guns and Cameras podcast. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now, career-wise.
Sure. So right now, I work as a content producer for Stopbox USA. I also do, what I can on the sides, any exposure to the industry I can get my hands on. Living in this area, it seems like there's just a million different opportunities around here as far as just the coolest people around, coolest companies to work with and stuff. So I'm very slowly starting to introduce myself to everybody and kind of get to know all the people that are up here in the Spokane Coeur d'Alene area. So it's been a pretty sweet almost year now being at Stopbox and kind of adjacent to the farm industry. So it's been a lot.
That's what's awesome. Tell us a little bit about what your first impressions were coming into this industry, realizing that you could shoot content for the defense and gun industry specifically.
Well, that's a good question. It was a lot. I didn't even think about joining. I was a casual gun owner, um, had, a lot of opinions on gun rights, that kind of thing, but I was just a very casual owner. And then I saw an advertisement to come work at Stopbox. So I just did that because their stuff's cool. I enjoy watching their content and stuff. So absolutely. And then I get there, I start working with you and a couple of these other guys there, and then we go to SHOT Show and I drink all the Kool-Aid. I am so up on the Kool-Aid that, seeing all the cool stuff and what everybody's doing, I want to do that. So here I am just trying to make my way, learn, really, really trying to learn before I try and put my own stuff into the industry. I just feel like every day I learn something new. So there's a lot.
The first SHOT Show experience is kind of crazy. Tell us a little bit about first impressions, first day walking through the doors. What was it like for you?
Oh my gosh, it was crazy. I mean, I lived in Vegas a little bit. I spent some time there. I've never gotten to go to one of the big Vegas expos that they have there. It's always been a dream to go to like CES or even SHOT Show. I'd heard of it, but I didn't know that much about it. So getting to go, realizing that it's just, insiders. It's not open to the public, and just seeing the scale of it. I mean, I thought I knew because I watched some of, the old content that Stopbox put on, but I had no clue. That was minuscule compared to, what it ended up being, especially because I got to Stopbox took me, and so I got to participate in helping them out, and so seeing their booth that they set up outside on the main floor outside the big doors. I mean, it was crazy. I was overwhelmed. I don't think I said a word to anybody after the show was over because I was so talked out, but it was awesome.
I think one of the first things I noticed, one besides the scale and scope of the show at my first SHOT Show, was also just the community and the culture, right? Because on one hand, it seems super gigantic, but on the other hand, it's really not as big as people think.
Yeah.
And then getting to know a lot of the creatives and the creators behind all of the personalities and brands has been super exciting. What is one thing that you're looking forward to joining while you join the Guns and Cameras podcast as a host? Wow, tripped over that one. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. I'm really looking forward to, I mean, getting to know all the people. I mean, obviously we're a whole year in now. I've listened to every episode, and I've followed all these creators, and I feel like I've learned so much of watching everybody on. I mean, my one of my favorite episodes is Young Waco, like all his stuff. I mean, I love that. All that stuff. I mean, there's just so many cool people. I'm forgetting his name right this second, but the gentleman that makes the Halo suits. I mean, come on. Getting to talk to people
Larry.
that do this, that's yeah, Larry, thank you. That's so cool. And uh listening to people I got to meet, like part of SHOT Show is getting to meet all these people that I have seen on TV, or I've seen their work, like Caliber Row, getting to meet them. They were sitting right in front of us in the Gundies, and I didn't even know it. Like, that's crazy. So that was super cool. I got to meet one of my childhood heroes, a couple of UFC fighters. So not to go back to the SHOT Show question, but I mean, just use this platform that you've created, and then SHOT Show. I mean, just the all the great people you get to meet. It's so cool.
Yeah. You guys, it has been a joy getting to know Evan. Working at Stopbox was a lot of fun. A lot of great guys there, great company, great product. But one of the most fun parts for me was getting to know Evan, working with him. And the reason why, to clarify, and I told this to Evan when we were getting a beer, talking about bringing him on to the show, that I wanted to bring Evan on as a co-host is because Evan has got a drive and a motivation to be a part of this industry that you don't often see. Evan is a guy that when he says he's going to show up, he shows up, and that says a lot about his character. And I think that he's going to be a really good fit for the show. Plus, he's just got great heart, great energy, and I think he's going to bring some pretty fantastic point of view and opinion to the show. That, and having somebody who is still in the process of learning, not saying that I'm always going to be a student, I'm always learning, but we're in different positions career-wise, and that being said, we're bringing different perspective and approaches to future episodes of the podcast. So I'm really excited to have Evan on,
Thank
because I
you. I
think he's
really
going to be
appreciate
great.
that.
So, also, if you don't follow any of Evan's content, you should go right now to Instagram. Go to I am Evan Fitzpatrick and give him a follow and check out his work.
Thank you. Thank you.
Are you creating a separate Instagram for yourself that is 2A more gun centered, or are you gonna just go full on, full send and commit, for lack of a better term, professional suicide and go all guns?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's funny. You and I have talked about this a lot, even back when you were at Starbucks and we were working together. I go back and forth on this all the time, really, just because not even I'm not worried about the career suicide. I mean, I have like 400 followers right now. I'm not really worried about losing anybody because I don't have anybody following me, so it's not that big of a deal. But there's always that question of, oh, do I want to post, a picture of my family, next to these guns? Like, just what makes sense. I want to curate an experience for somebody coming to my profile. I don't want to just have random stuff. So I'm working on that. I don't know. We'll talk about that more. I'm sure you'll influence me one way or another. So
Well, that leads into the bigger question that I think a lot of people don't understand fully. And this is, again, not to get on a soapbox here, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening, or to throw a pity party for the gun industry creators. But it is something that we talk about often on the show, is how you're essentially cutting ties from mainstream media professional work, right? Because, and I felt this even in my industry in Spokane, as soon as I started basically saying, hey, I'm a guy that shoots content, media, marketing, etc. for the gun industry, that pretty much puts you on the blacklist for anything mainstream media professionally. And if you try to not own it, you create a black hole of experience where you come in and say, hey, I've been working for 10 years. And they go, well, where's the portfolio? And you go, let me show you. And it's all guns. You, unless you are interviewing with somebody who is pro freedom and pro America, which is becoming not rare, I want to say, but it's in the mainstream marketing world is becoming less common. That's going to make your journey to getting hired by that company a little bit harder. This is from personal experience, also from testimony that I've heard from people that we've had on the show. I'm sure if you reach out to anybody, once you kind of decide to go down this path, you're pretty well committed. It makes it really hard to get off of. So props, Evan. Whichever way you decide to go, I've talked to a couple of people that have gone both ways. I went full send and just was like, this is what I do. But I've talked to some guys that have compartmentalized their professional work to, here's what I do on the weekends, and here's what I do during the week. I don't know that there's any negative to that, except for maybe the stress of if somebody finds out you're living a double life. It could get interesting. This is so stupid, you guys, that we have to even talk about this.
It's a little annoying. I mean,
Go
there's
ahead.
so many cool things I want to do. Everybody wants to do. I don't want to. I love cars. I want to make car content. I want to do all these things, but it's a great question. I'm compartmentalizing your social media presence is probably the smartest way to go. I mean, before this, I did wedding films, and I knew that one I already put out. I already had a wedding film account because I knew I'm not going to put brides and guns next to the same, you know, on the same timeline. So
I mean, maybe that's the new hip thing, you guys. Maybe that's going to be the next big thing in the wedding content industry is going to be guns and gals, or not in the gross way, but in like the, you know, get married with a helicopter with a minigun. I don't know. Throw the bouquet out of a
yeah,
grenade launcher or something. I don't know.
I've shot a few camo vest sleeveless weddings, and they exist. The market's out there. It's just I don't know how big it is.
That's awesome. Well, one of the big reasons why we wanted to have this special edition episode, besides just introducing Evan, was also to introduce and talk about something that we are both very excited about. That is the Guns and Camera Awards, or the GCAs, as we are calling them. Very excited about this. The submissions window opened officially yesterday. That's September 1st. This is airing Friday, so just about 5 days ago. And yeah, pretty pumped about it. Evan, what are your thoughts about the GCAs?
Dude, I'm so excited. I think there's so many great people out there who don't have much of a following or don't have much of a voice out there, but still make just amazing work. And this is giving them an opportunity. I mean, especially with the first entry being free. I mean, that's really going to help some people out who are just trying to get somebody to see their work. So I'm really excited for this. I know if I were on the other side, this is exactly what I would be looking for to participate in for sure.
All right, guys, we are now going to take a deep dive into what the Guns and Cameras Awards are. We're going to go behind the scenes. We're going to talk about the origin story, the who, what, when, where, why, etc. So, without any further ado, let's dive into it, shall we? The Guns and Camera Awards, Evan. It's a new award show that we created from the Guns and Cameras podcast with the sole goal of inspiring, encouraging, and energizing the creators, both men and women, in the outdoor adventure, 2A, and defense industries. So, what does that mean? Well, personally, as a creative that works in this space, I learned very quickly that it's very hard to get motivated to want to continue to do well. Like, for example, if I am creating and doing some of the best work I've ever done, one, you're pouring content into an echo chamber that's not as big as people think, and your social media is getting restricted, suppressed. You're not going to get the same traction. Nobody's going to see it, and so you hit this kind of point where it's like, what is the point of what I am doing? And it's very competitive. As much as we like to say in our community, and I know this is true, we all have each other's back and we're all there to support each other and we all love working together. But it is extremely competitive when you're all fighting for the paid work in a very small pool, right? So as much as we have camaraderie, there is also this just like, it's tough. It's tough to be able to make a living in this space. So we do have the Gundy Awards that Forged Relations created a number of years ago. The GCAs are not meant to compete with the Gundys. It's a totally different system, a totally different format with a totally different mission. At least I think this, Evan. I don't know how you feel about it.
No, I agree.
But we're coming at it at a different way. We are approaching the Guns and Camera Awards with the lens of saying we want to support the creators, like I said earlier. So the goal here is to have it rely completely not on how many people are following you. So like there are plenty of guys that I know in this industry that are absolutely stellar photographers who have sub 5,000, sub 500 followers on their social media. They're not YouTube celebrities. They're not creating content for themselves. They're just working for brands in photo and video production. And these guys are crazy talented, and unless you know specifically their work for the brands, you're not ever really going to know to go follow them and support them as creative. So that being said, this is a peer review system and it's user submission. So the way that works is, like Evan said earlier, I wanted to make it accessible to anyone regardless of budget. So the first entry fee is waived for everyone. So anybody who is an amateur, semi-professional, professional, YouTuber, hobbyist, whatever, that works in this industry and the outdoor adventure space, fishing, hiking, etc., who wants to submit a piece of work for peer review to compete for gold, silver, or bronze award in the GCAs, can do that at no charge. So first entry is free. Every subsequent entry, there's a $10 entry fee. And then if you want to do a bulk entry, we discounted it. It's $80 for 10 entries. Pretty easy to submit. There's a form. You go to gunsandcameras.io. You fill out the jot form. You go to gunsandcameras.io, click on the Enter the Guns and Camera Awards, go through the rules and regs, click Enter, create an account, and then once you create an account, there are 3 options for submission. There's the first free entry form, there's the single entry form, and the 10 entry form, and all you got to do is fill out the form and pay the fee and hit submit, and you're in. That's it. Super easy. What do you think? Do you think it's easy, Evan? Have you submitted? Well, you can't submit because you're a judge, so you're disqualified. But does that sound easy to you?
It sounds easy. I got to experience the site before launch, and it's very. I mean, I don't know how much more easier you could have made it. If they're really struggling to figure that out, I wonder about the quality of their work.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
And that's the big thing. So what are the awards? What do you win? What's the point? So the way this works is we have assembled a panel of 7 judges. We have myself, we have Evan, we have Lacey Ward. Hold on. I believe it. Let me pull up the website. We're going to start this over again because I don't want to look like a silly guy. Here we go. There it is. All right. So how does this work? This is an award show. And the way you win is we have assembled a panel of 7 judges. Now, these judges are industry experts. Myself and Evan are both judges because we can't compete, so we figured we might as well judge. We also have Lacey Warden from Fire and Lace Consulting. We have Aaron Breeden, who's the executive producer of a company called Colormatics. They produce national ads for like you've probably seen some of their ads during like March Madness. They do a lot of big stuff that air on television nationwide. We have Kenzie Fitzpatrick, competitive shooter, marketer, author. She's awesome. She's also been a guest on the Guns and Cameras. We have Tyler Edwards, who is he's a photographer, hunting photographer, but he's also like the regional director for Zeiss Sports Optic Division. And then we have Rich Wilkins, aka Patriot Rich, owner of 117 Media. Rich is awesome. He's been all over the gun industry for a number of years. Just about everybody knows him. He's very well in tune with what is hip and popular and good in the gun industry from a creative standpoint and marketing standpoint. So stoked to have him on board. So what happens is we have this panel of 7 judges. Everybody submits a link to review the content for a given category. And one of the 7 of us is going to review and score your content accordingly. What that does is it's going to put you in the running for gold, silver, or bronze 2-inch metal coin with the Guns and Cameras logo on it. It's very cool. The coins have been ordered. We're going to start creating content with those, Evan, as soon as they arrive at the end of September.
Sweet. Super excited.
You will also, in addition to the coin, be receiving a certificate, framed certificate with the basically the GCA 2025 logo and heading. It's going to have the title of the piece that you submitted. It's going to have the gold, silver, bronze prize on there. It's going to have like basically just a little thing, kind of like this. This is what the Addy Awards a number of years ago looked like, where you get something like this. It's going to look like that, only it's going to be for the Guns and Cameras. So that with the coin is going to be what you're going to be shipped if you win. In addition, we wanted to make it a little bit more interesting and prestigious. So not only are you competing for the coins, the gold, silver, or bronze of the category in each division, which I'll get into in a minute, you're also competing for the division award, which is basically, this is how it's set up. You win a gold, you get 5 points. You win a silver, you get 3 points. You win a bronze, you get 1 point. The top earners, the top 3 scorers of each division will compete for the division award, which is going to be videographer of the year, photographer of the year, talent of the year, or marketer of the year, and that's going to be a trophy that I'm still working on designing. It's going to be, if you take that, that's going to be a pretty big deal because that means you beat out everybody for the year with your content. So, talking about categories and divisions, we have 4 divisions. We have video, videography, photography, talent, and marketing. We wanted to try to make a big umbrella to encapsulate all the different kinds of creators that operate in our space. That's why we have those 4 divisions. And within each division, there's a number of categories. Contestants are not limited on how many divisions or categories they can enter at any time. You're limited by your budget for submission fees and the number of unique files that you have to submit. So what that means is that if you have 10 videos that you think could win video of the year under the videography division, and they're all different videos, separate files, separate projects, you can submit all 10. But if you have 10 variations of the same video, you can't submit all of those. You can't submit the same video 10 times. You'll get disqualified. So just know that. And that's pretty much the way it's set up. So the submission window is from September 1st all the way to December 31st. We're looking for content created in 2025. At the end of when submissions close, we'll tally up the scores, and we're going to have a live award show of some kind, either a live on YouTube or live streamed from a venue somehow. We're going to figure that out still, where we give everybody the awards right before SHOT Show, mid-January, so people going down to SHOT Show who are trying to get work can brag about how many golds or how many silvers or what they won or how they won or whatever. The goal here is to create value for the creators and to establish a standard or an expectation of what should be standard for the quality of the work in our industry. This is clear gun. Hey, what's up, guys? We are halfway through this week's episode of Guns and Cameras, and that means it's time for me to tell you it's been brought to you by 1156 Productions and by Tokens of Valor. Tokens of Valor is my boutique jewelry company where I take ballistic components like brass and copper, combine them with sterling silver to create one-of-a-kind, hand-forged wearable works of art, just like this chain, this bangle, and this chain here, and this ring. If you guys are interested in getting a piece of custom boutique ballistic jewelry made for yourself, please go to Tokens of Valor on Instagram, send me a DM, and I'll get something started for you. Also, fun fact, we're working on a website that's coming soon. It's going to be great. Also, you guys, Guns and Cameras now has an official merchandise store and website. So if you go to gunsandcameras.io, you can find really cool brand stuff in there, like these stickers or these patches. There's also a whole bunch of shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, and other things that I'm adding on there as well. So if you buy anything from the Guns and Cameras merch store, thank you so much. I super appreciate you. Also, you guys, at gunsandcameras.io is where you can now register for the GCAs or the Guns and Camera Awards. As you have probably heard in the first half of this week's impromptu episode, submissions are now open. They run from now through December 31st. There's going to be a live award show in mid-January. We're giving away medals, gold, silver, bronze. What else? I was going to say something about... Oh, and there's no excuses to submit. The first entry for everybody is free. Subsequent entries are $10. Bulk entries are $80 for 10 to help you save a little bit of money. All the proceeds generated from the GCAs, as you're going to hear later in the episode, are going to go back to building this platform. So get in on that while you can. What else? I think that's it, you guys. Thank you for bearing with me on this crazy, weird, ridiculous episode. Such is the life of a creative. You never know when or where you're going to go. And sometimes, you pick up the phone, the next day you're flying to Texas or Timbuktu or who knows where to create awesome content. But that's the life of a content creator. I don't know. It's awesome. I love it. It's crazy. But you guys are the best, so enjoy the rest of this week's episode of Guns and Cameras. That was a lot. Sorry, Evan, you had to sit there and listen to that whole thing. I'm pretty pumped about it. What do you think about all this? What are your thoughts?
I'm so excited. My only regret is that I can't compete. But at the same time, I don't even want to try because I know that, I'm too early. I got nothing to show. I'm just excited to see all this stuff. I'm excited to see what everybody comes up with. I love that, it's not. I love that anybody can submit their work, different kinds of work. Obviously, they can't spam it with the 10 entries for the same video. Nice and fair. Your work should speak for itself. It's going to be great. I'm so excited, and to work alongside some awesome people in with the judges. I mean, all those guys you listed. Totally not intimidating at all that I'm on this list of judges. Thanks. It's going to be great.
Yeah,
Not related to Kenzie, by the way. So.
Yeah, it's going to be great. We got 2 Fitzpatricks on the judging panel. But yeah, it's going to be dope. And what Evan just said, you guys, if you're listening and you're just starting out, don't be dissuaded, right? This is the first year we've done this, and we haven't really established a standard for quality in our industry. I mean, you're going to be, hopefully, it's going to be fierce competition, but it's also your shot at, saying, hey, here I am. So don't feel like if you've only been doing this for a year that you can't enter. That's the whole reason why we set it up the way we set it up, is that if you think you got chops and you want to take a shot at it, then why not? It's free.
Yeah.
The first entry is free. So get your name in there and see where you stand. I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's going to be big for our industry. And again, it's just going to be, the big thing for me is separating the social media following from the whole equation, where it's going to be all about the quality of the work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how it pertains to the category that you entered. Because I think that, again, this is I want this to reinforce the point that I say on the show all the time, and that is that I believe we have some of the most capable, most talented creatives in the nation working in this industry. From a skill level, creative standpoint, just because our creators are being fostered and incubated in a space where there's no limitations to what or how you can create your content. I mean, obviously safety is paramount, but it's kind of like, this is the wild west of content creation. If you want to go big and blow something up, you're more often met with like, yeah, how can we make it real big, instead of like a hard no, or saying that's not safe. A lot of old school creators, and I think this is a great opportunity for us to celebrate them and hopefully shine a light on them, and then build a whole system and structure and community that is by design meant to support all of these creatives moving forward into 2026.
Absolutely.
It's going to be awesome. I'm very excited.
Now,
or maybe don't show it, but
quick question.
Yo.
So we're definitely, as you just said, we're separating. We want to make sure, in other words, make sure this isn't a popularity contest. So we want to, it doesn't matter what your following is, or we're really just judging based off of the quality of the work being submitted.
Hmm.
That being said, is there any measures that are going to be taken, like, like going in blind to not knowing whose videos who or anything like that, or what measures
Absolutely.
would be
It
taken to
is
help
going to
promote
be
that?
it is going to be anonymous. So the judges will be given each month a spreadsheet with a list of links, titles, etc. of the content, but the creator's name will be removed.
Sweet.
Right? So we have a number system that connects the name to the content, so we won't lose track of that.
Nice.
But the judges will not know unless they've seen the content and know the creator personally. Should not have any idea who it was that created the work. It's just going to be solely as much
Sweet.
as we can. Now, of course, there is a margin of error for all of these things, but as much as we can, it's going to be blind judging. Creator kept anonymous, right? And that goes with the number of pieces. And the thing I'm trying to figure out right now too is like, if this thing goes like super gangbusters awesome big, is going to just be making sure that the judges don't get so much of their time. They volunteered their time. They volunteered to participate in this whole thing. And if it gets too crazy, we're going to have to try to sort that out. But it's the first year, so I don't expect that to be a problem. But we'll just deal with it as we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So
Sweet.
yeah, man, it's going to be
That
awesome.
means there's really no excuse then. Everybody who's even remotely adjacent had better, you know, submit something that's free for
Right.
the first one.
Yeah, and that was the whole thought. Originally, I had set all the submissions. It was like $5 a submission across the board. But then I was like, why not make it accessible to everyone and just make the first submission free, right? And then the second submission and every subsequent is $10, which essentially would be the cost of two submissions anyway if it was $5 each. So the math kind of added up in my head, and it seemed like a much more Hermosi motivational tool to have there be a free offer in there. So, and then a discounted bulk offer, because I know that there's some creators out there that maybe have the budget and the amount of work to be able to submit up to 10 pieces, if not
Hmm.
more, and then trying to make that affordable as well. The division awards is going to be interesting because the you have to the assumption is that you're going to be good enough to win multiple categories or win something in multiple categories to compete for the division.
Hmm.
And so in order to compete for the division award, you have to submit multiple pieces of work. You can't win probably a division award with just the one free submission, which is kind of, I'm okay with that, like as part of that being part of the rules, you know.
Yeah.
But it is going to be interesting to see who takes those in the first year, right?
Hmm.
Because there is going to be a level of prestige that comes from that, right? Which is the whole point of having division awards, is that if you clinched the division, that should mean quite a bit. So we're going to see how that mechanic works out. It's been really fun trying to put this all together because it is like a game, and I didn't want to make it breakable. If you guys are into playing board games or video games or whatever else, you guys kind of know that there's a way to play the system, right? I don't know that Gundy's is exempt from this or not, right? Depending on how that system works on the back end. But, I've spent a lot of time pumping Chat GPT and pouring back on my lifetime of knowledge and trying to build a system that, one, is going to be fair, but also isn't like breakable in the sense that if you submitted 200 pieces of work, that's great, right? It'll be probably expensive, but it all has to be different work, and it has to be good work, because otherwise it's just kind of like it's not gonna help you necessarily, because
Hmm.
this is a judge peer reviewed system, right? So I feel pretty good about how it's all set up and organized. I'm going to be pretty transparent throughout the process with how things are going and what our hiccups are, and I'm going to rely heavily on people's feedback for this first year of like, what are their pain points, what's a turnoff, where do we win, where do we fail, how do we make it better? How do we evolve? Because again, like I've said before in the show, the first year of doing anything or the first time of doing anything is always the hardest. So we're just kind of making it up as we go along. So that being said, that's how the system is set up. The rules and regulations are pretty clear. There is a very bold rule about how AI tools can be used in the content, because that's the world we live in right now. We did create a category, I believe, under the photo division that allows for, like, it's just kind of a fun category that is 100% like if you wanted to go and do a prompt on an AI content, right? You can submit there. AI tools are permitted with restrictions. I'm not going to read the rules and regs to you guys here on the podcast. If you're curious, just go to the website. There's multiple ways of getting to the rules and regs. You just click on one of the big links that say rules and regs here, and then read through the rules. So yeah, there's that. But one of the things that we are also, wow, I had a thought and then I lost it. Where was I going? What was I going to talk about? What are we going to do with the funds generated from submissions? So I want to be totally transparent with this as well. I have no idea how much money we're going to have come in from this whole venture. I do know that I personally have invested just about $1,000 total so far in getting the coins made, getting some patches made, the website, the jot form, the software, everything that we've had to put together to get this thing up and running has cost about $1,000 to date. So first order of business is going to be trying to break even with the investment of building the platform for the first year. Anything in addition is going to be set aside in an account. This includes sponsorship dollars, anything that we can raise throughout the whole process of the next 4 months. It's going to be set aside to be used to build the guns and cameras platform that we've been talking about over the last year. So what does that mean? That means a studio for us to record in, take photos in, a budget or a fund for being able to bring guests to us so that we can record things in person or take us to them, because we want to have it be more relational and not so remote. We're also hopefully, again, this is assuming we go big with this here, is building the studio, establishing a budget for guests, funding, or at least partially funding, the first creative camp out in 2026. And what the plan is for that is basically renting a venue for a couple of days, maybe a weekend, and then bringing in industry sponsors and industry pros to basically put on workshops, do a bunch of fun stuff together, so where we can collaboratively create in person, shoot guns with cameras and ammunition, get creative, learn, put on workshops, train, all that kind of stuff. Just have a good time. So that is one thing I want to do. And also maybe funding the first ever Guns and Cameras exhibition or art show, which would be kind of cool. So we got some big plans. Again, a lot of that is going to be dictated by how big we go this first year. Again, the first goal, first order of business, is just to break even on the production costs for the whole thing. Anything above and beyond is just gravy. But we're going to be transparent about what we're doing with those funds as well. The goal is to give back to the community and to support the creators within it. So there you go. What else should we talk about, Evan? I don't want to make this too long-winded.
Oh, this is great. Before we jump topics or do anything else, I think it's, I just want to say how awesome it is. I know I'm a part of this, but I mean, this is really your baby, and it's really cool to see, um, A, where you've gotten this platform to where it's at now, and B, where, just the plans you have for it and doing this whole thing it's awesome to get to witness this and be a part of it. So thank you for, putting all this money and time into it and letting me ride along. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be dope. I'm pumped. We're gonna ride this train, see where it goes. I have no idea. The thing about this industry, my friends, if you're listening, is that from the outside looking in, it seems to be a lot larger than it really is in actuality. So something like this, the GCAs may, heck, I don't know. It may not be profitable this year. It might not be profitable next year. I have no idea. But it exists, and I think that is important. Because again, there are people that could use some encouragement, and I think it's important to have things to work towards other than just paying your rent for the next week, which is a powerful motivator. But you know, being able to feel like there is a standard and an expectation for you as a creator in every industry, right? I mean, like the Addy Awards exist and they're successful every year. The Academy Awards, all these things exist to, again, be motivators to pursue excellence creatively. And for whatever reason, our industry is disqualified from a lot of those just because it's too real or too violent or too, I don't know what the word is, violating community guidelines too much, right? And so we, in a lot of ways, are working very hard. At least I know, I can't speak for you guys, but I can speak for myself. I work very hard to be the best I can be in the content I create for the brands I work with, right? And even my own personal work. And what I mean by that is hundreds of hours, if not thousands of hours of research, training, development into color grading, animation, editing techniques, how to pick sound, how to mix sound, how to adjust frame rates, how to set up studio lighting, thousands of dollars into equipment and gear, and then all the time it takes to learn how to use that gear effectively and efficiently while on set. Lugging around all that crap, the toll it takes on my body, like the mental energy of trying to be able to create and think of story and narrative that makes content interesting to hopefully sell product or to get people's attention. Research into that. I mean, the amount of time that I have invested to be the best I can at producing this content for these brands, and to have that just kind of not like to not be I mean, it is recognized by industry because I've been working in this space long enough that my friends and my peers in industry, when they see good work, will call me and say, hey, that's awesome, and I appreciate that. But from a professional standpoint, when it comes to having other people in industry recognize that the work is good, right, that validation for a person who is pursuing that so intensely is priceless, to your confidence, to your desire to want to continue. And so I think that establishing Guns and Cameras, the podcast, the Guns and Camera Awards, the guild, the stuff that we have planned for the future to inspire the people that are looking for that type of peer review, right, or for that professional accolade, right. I think that's going to be. I think that's big. I think it's important, even for people like me. And I can't even participate, right? Like, I still want to win a Gundy. I think that'd be huge. I would love to take a Gundy award, just because to date, that's like the only award in this industry that you can win that kind of says that, hey, you've done good work. I don't love that it's connected so heavily to your subscriber base to get people to motivate to vote for you. Just because I think the numbers are so grossly out of balance there with some of the categories and the follower count, subscriber count on some of these YouTubers, which I think is great. I love their success. I love what they do. A lot of them are friends, but I also don't have 10 million followers. I just don't, right? Not even on my best day could I probably get the number of votes required to take a W, right, in one of these categories. So it's kind of like it is that unreachable goal, that white whale for me, is to try to take something like that. But there needs to be something in between that white whale to continue to motivate people. And that's where we're trying to hit with the GCAs, is like, hey, it is easier to win a gold or silver or bronze. There's more awards you can win. There's more categories. There's more winners in each category. Then there's the division. So there's tiers. So it kind of fills in that gap of like, hey, we're trying to hit everybody that feels like they could never even come close to competing for something like a Gundy. We want to hit that ground, right, with the GCAs. So that was a lot.
No, it's great. Well said. I mean, you're totally right.
So, Evan, who's going to be your first guest? Who are you going to try to nail down? Because
Oh, man,
to
that's a
be
big
clear,
question.
ladies and gentlemen, part of the reason why I brought Evan on is to help free up some of my time so that we can tag team, because he's going to go after a different target demographic for guests than I am. He's also going to ask different questions. He's going to do different content than I'm going to do. And so I have given him creative freedom to be able to say, hey, you can pursue and interview guests as, if you want, by all means. And then we'll work those episodes into the posting structure of the Guns and Cameras podcast. So that premise, again, Evan, who's your top 3 list of people you want to interview first since you've joined Guns and Cameras?
That's a great question. Personally, my a lot of my biggest interest since having joined the industry is competitive shooting. I really enjoy that. I would love to. I see such crazy talent that these guys have developed and girls have developed for so long, and I want to kind of talk more about them. I mean, figure everything out that they're doing. I happen to know a few. My short term here is already in this industry has already had me meet a couple amazing shooters and build some really cool friendships. So um, I don't know if I have a realistic top 3. I know I want to get Shane from Glock, Shane Coley. I know he's a wealth, I'm sorry, yeah, a wealth of knowledge. So I mean, having him on here would be super cool. There's a couple other guys that are actually pretty local that are pretty big, so hopefully I can get them on here. So we'll see. Got to get those balls rolling. So
Joe. So I don't care how unrealistic it is. You only gave me one. So who are your other 2? So we got Shane Coley. Shane's awesome. There's a video of me somewhere trying to go up against him on a dueling tree and getting absolutely smoked.
yeah, I just saw that the other day. I need to find that. Oh gosh. I mean, I would like to have Dylan on, the CEO of Stopbox. Personally, he has kind of mentored me a lot in the competitive shooting space. Um, so that would be really cool. I know he's got a lot of cool answers and looks at a lot of things from a different perspective. So it'd be really cool to have him on. And
Well, on that one we could do, or you could do in person.
yeah, exactly.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, true that. Gosh, he's the
Because he's
third one.
local.
Yeah, exactly. Um, I'm really stumped on the
JJ
third one.
Rakaza.
JJ Riccardo, yes, that's exactly what I was on my mind. Yeah, he's a big one. I've been watching his stuff now for a few
We're
few
gonna get
months.
JJ.
Yeah, yeah, he you actually put me on to him a long time ago, and yeah, that'd be great to pick his brain and just it's just so interesting to me to see how people who do such a cool thing for a living, how they live their lives. So getting a look into that would be really cool.
I agree. That's a good top 3. I know
Thanks,
I'm
thanks
pretty
for the assist.
confident we can probably get at least 2 of them. I know JJ. I've met him a number of times, and I think he might be down, but
That'd be sweet.
we'll have to see.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to. Yeah, we got to get we need you guys to help us get all of the GCAs off the ground so we can build a studio, just so we can fancy it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Turn my garage into one or something.
I like to have more than just a race poster behind me or a race bib behind me, so that'd be cool.
Yeah, we gotta definitely spruce Evan up a little bit here. But yeah, you guys, we got big plans. I'm stoked to have Evan on board. I think if you guys enjoyed last week's episode where we brought on Kevin Schmertzler, aka Harris.K.S.Media on Instagram. We had him on the show. Great episode. That was one of the first intros that we shot together, which was a little rough, which generated an excellent blooper reel, if I don't say so myself.
Oh yeah.
We're going to be doing more of that kind of stuff, but we're also going to try to increase our posting schedule, which means that, again, once Evan gets rolling on creating content for his side of things, and then we'll continue with Behind the Lens series, we're going to add more stuff. So there's going to be more diverse content on the podcast, which includes equipment reviews, both guns and cameras. We're going to have more guests on. We'll be posting more regularly with that. And then we're just going to try to keep building and seeing what happens with the platform, because I think it's I have a lot of excitement, motivation, ambition for what guns and cameras could be. But we'll just have to, take it one day at a time, right? 1% growth every day. That's the goal.
Okay.
So that's all I got. We're coming up on an hour of just chatting about GCAs and guns and cameras. So I think I'm good. I don't have anything else. Evan, you got anything to say?
I'm good. That's it.
All right. Awesome. You guys, this has been a special edition episode of the Guns and Cameras podcast with your hosts, Joshua Best and Evan Fitzpatrick. Again, like I said, you guys, if you haven't followed Evan before, go right now to Instagram, search for I am Evan Fitzpatrick. Check out Evan's work. And be sure to subscribe if you like what you're hearing on the podcast, or watching on YouTube or whatever platform you're on, Spotify, Apple. Do us a big solid. Leave a review on Apple and Spotify. Like, share, subscribe, follow on YouTube and Instagram and Trigger Hill and Rumble, which I'm working on, and I think TikTok. You're kind of a wizard at TikTok, Evan, right? So I might put you in charge of trying to do that.
I can do that.
So we're gonna try to we're gonna take a crack at this thing and see if we can't make a go of it. So we appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Again, it's been Guns and Cameras. Y'all have a great night. And that's it. That's the end of this week's kind of crazy, impromptu, really disorganized episode of Guns and Cameras. But, such is the way of things. One day you have nothing going on. The next day you pick up the phone and you're flying all over the country, going who knows where, with who knows who, doing who knows what, all in the name of trying to scratch a living out in this crazy, crazy world. But it's a blast, and I love it. And I also love you guys. Thanks so much for hanging out for this week's episode and listening to a little bit about Evan's story. I'm sure you're going to hear more about him in the future. Also, for hearing all of the stuff kind of behind the scenes about the GCAs, or the Guns and Camera Awards. I am super excited about the GCAs, and I think you guys will really enjoy it as the thing progresses. I know it's something new, so I have very low expectations, but I think that overall it's going to be awesome. Doing something for the first time is always the hardest, and so hey, we got it built. We got it going. It's happening for the first time this year. And then next year it's going to grow and grow and grow. I hope. I pray. It's going to be awesome. Anywho, you guys are the bomb. Thanks for hanging out. Stay safe, stay sane. And if you do work in the guns and cameras outdoor adventure industry, go to gunsandcameras.io. Make sure to jump on board. Hit that free submission. And it's going to be great. Y'all are the bomb. Stay safe, stay sane. Have I said this already? Whatever. That's all I got. It's that kind of episode, you guys. Have a good one. We'll see you next time.